batteries in the future. We had an RFP open for that earlier this year. We reopened it to get updated pricing given the tariffs and the incentives that have been changing pretty dynamically. So we'll be reviewing that in the second half of this year and looking at options for moving forward with a much bigger battery that we'd have for a longer term. This has been great to give our team some experience, real-time experience working with the battery and learning, how to set the parameters and everything like that. Yeah. So we're happy to have the pilot. I mentioned earlier, but I want to reiterate, the federal legislation that passed is a huge headwind for all of the various climate action and strategic electrification we're trying to do in Burlington, across the state, across the country. Solar and wind incentives being eliminated while they're maintaining and even in some cases adding new fossil fuel incentives on the generation side. Effort to truly tip the scales away from new renewables. I worry about the impact of that on the availability of new renewables in New England, particularly combined with the efforts to shut down some of the offshore wind leases that the administration's made, and the harm that's come from the tariff conversation on our relationship more broadly as a state with Canada and the potential for support from Canada. So I think the renewable energy generation environment is going to be quite challenging over the next several years. And I think that beyond that, we work very hard. The focus of our net zero roadmap efforts are in the thermal and transportation sectors, heat pump incentives, energy efficiency incentives, induction cooking incentives, incentives for EV charging, incentives for upgrading your electric panel, incentives for all manner of electric vehicles, all being shut down, and the EV incentive going away by the end of September. So it's a very abrupt shutdown of that market. Combined with the fact that the state no longer funds the EV rebate program, means that for Burlington customers, we will be the only source of financial support for anyone looking to get a new or used EV. We're going to consider what types of flexibility we have within our various programs to do more than we've done currently. We won't be able to fill that gap, there's no question. We can't afford to do that. There may be some things we can do to support customers during this period, to make it at least moderately more affordable than it would otherwise be to continue with an EV or with a plug-in hybrid or different things like that. So we're going to look at all those options. We'll keep the commission updated on that as well. But in terms of the rate case, there is a possibility that the FY26 rate may be slightly reduced from the 4.5%. I'm talking probably like, 4.3 something, in order to account for some one-time consulting fees that had inadvertently been included in the FY25 rate case that are being withdrawn. And so we may be able to account for that in the FY26 rate case. There's some process on both of those rate cases at the PUC currently. So I want to give the commission an update. Obviously, downward pressure, moderate downward pressure is not a bad thing for customers. And it addresses an issue potentially that we had with the FY25 rate case that we can address in 26. So keep you posted there. And then lastly, we were expecting that potentially the EV grant that we had received might be, the funding source for that might have been eliminated in this recent legislation. It was not. And so that grant remains frozen currently with FHWA. We have been in active discussions with our state attorney general office and in coalition with other grantees around the country, looking at whether there is any sort of action that we can join or be participating in that would give us an opportunity to get a court order, similar to what's been happening in some other contexts, to unlock that money. We would very much like to bring that $4.85 million to Burlington for EV charging. If we don't get it, we'll continue to invest through the revenue bond, but not nearly at the scale that we would if we can get the grant. So we're making an effort there, very proactive. We appreciate the Attorney General's office for being supportive and doing everything they can to work with us on that. So keep you posted there as well. That's everything I've got on that item.
Thank you.
Glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from the commission?
No, busy as usual.
And hopefully you appreciated the slightly shorter report this month. We've tried very hard to move it from being a 13 some odd page report down to about 8, trying to make sure we're more concise. So welcome additional feedback as you're reviewing, but trying to keep things a little tighter on the report as well.
It's appreciated, thank you.
Yeah, it's effective.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll try to stick with that format.
Thank you. Okay, Moving on to the 2025-2026 strategic direction for discussion and vote.
Okay. So the strategic direction, as the commission knows, we've had a fairly steady focus since the roadmap was released in the top items, but we have had some updates annually in the strategic objectives. We run a process here. Our goal is that this is a one-page document that goes up on our wall. We want every BEDer to see a piece of their work in this document and identify something that they're involved with as being a part of this document. So we start off by asking everybody in the organization to bring forward any ideas they have for updates. I think a few years ago there was quite a dynamic update process. This year, much more stable, which, you know, from my thinking is not a bad thing to have some stability in the strategic planning, but some good new initiatives or language around initiatives in here. A chunk of this comes from suggestions that we've had from our sustainability and equity team as well, so we've tried to capture some of their suggestions in here. Maybe I'll just walk through the track changes and give just some context for the commission. So if you have the document open, our first set of strategic objectives are around engaging customers in the community. We have added some language here to talk about expanding and enhancing capacity building and energy literacy. ETA, as you know, has done some great work in the community and also with videos that have been translated into a number of different languages, explaining, you know, how to read your electric bill, like how to focus in on weatherization. So I think we're trying to capture some of those initiatives here with this language. We also have in this section an update to talk about working with frontline communities to ensure programs and services are equitable, fully accessible, and build community resilience. Again, in the equity space, we've done a lot of work with a lot of different partners. We have had a good, strong relationship with CVOEO, for example, in trying to make sure that as we're offering programs, we are hearing from all members of the community in terms of what their needs are, trying to be focused on outreach that's beyond the typical channels that we might always have had in the past. So I think we're trying to capture some of that here. This next item is a suggestion that comes from me, which is to make note that in our evolution of our efficiency programs and our strategic electrification efforts, part of our job now is to fill gaps due to the federal program changes. We've had the Efficiency Modernization Act pilot that came from our original pandemic era programs, was turned into a legislative 3-year pilot. We were able to get it extended, runs through the end of 2026, and then it ends. And we're going to be asking the legislature to extend that for BED because it enables us to use our efficiency dollars and our Tier 3 dollars in combination much more effectively. We've used it for geothermal well drilling, for example, test wells at a variety of spots, including the high school, which went forward with a geothermal system. We've used it to support the multifamily rental charging program that we've had that's been a successful pilot program and now a permanent program with EV Match, who we met through the Delta Climb Business Accelerator. We've had stronger EV incentives, stronger heat pump incentives, all because of this new legislation. And so now it provides us flexibility potentially to look at how we can fill gaps or be responsive as the federal government steps away from any type of meaningful action in these spaces. So we just wanted to capture that a little bit. Munir is not here, but the strength and reliability section is stable, as is the people process technology section. So the next place we have edits is in the Innovate to Reach Net Zero Energy. This is another edit that I added as a proposed edit to suggest that in the section where we talk about district energy, we're talking about network geothermal as well. I've always conceived of district energy not limited to any one particular source, but just the idea that you're connecting one or more buildings with a common energy system. It's been done with fossil fuels in the past. It certainly in Burlington has come to mean connecting McNeil, but it can mean geothermal. It can mean other things as well. We are interested in geothermal. There are some opportunities, not just for geothermal like we have at the high school potentially or some of the other schools, but maybe some network systems, particularly as we have new developments taking place. So we want to capture that with this edit. In this next edit, which really comes from our equity team, we're talking about ensuring our charging infrastructure is available for all Burlingtonians, including in locations near affordable and rental housing, frontline communities, and small businesses in under-resourced areas. I think we've made some meaningful steps in this space. We've done the pilot pole-mounted chargers in areas of the city that meet certain types of metrics for income, for percentage of renters, different types of metrics around environmental justice. We've gotten some good feedback on those. We want to kind of continue to be intentional about where we're locating charging. We've taken a lot of community feedback on that as well through our surveys. The next item is really just some tweaked language around broadening engagement as we have partnerships. I think it's fairly straightforward. And then the last proposed edit is in the first bullet under managing budget and risks responsibly, talking about promoting affordability, targeting investment in vulnerable communities, protecting against cost burdens for low-income customers. Obviously been doing some work on that with the EAP program and the continued expansion of that. We want to be conscious of any types of burdens that we're placing on all customers, but particularly low-income customers, and so that language is in there to help us, help guide us in that direction. So those are the edits. Again, we didn't receive an overwhelming amount of feedback this year from the team, which reflects hopefully a relative stability and satisfaction with the language capturing a lot of the work that we're doing already, but some good edits from Ita and Jen, and then a few that we've offered as well in a couple different areas, and glad to answer any questions the commission has.
Questions?
I have a question. This is helpful, Darren, thank you, and appreciate the walkthrough. So I think I was here last year, we did this, so this is my second time through this process. This is, you're bringing to the, what's the role of the commission in this document really? Is it a formality in that it's something the department could adopt, but we're sort of, you're bringing it, you know, what, it's not a binding document per se, right?
It's not a binding document per se. We find it to be, I think, a useful sort of common document between the commission and the department, and between the department staff amongst ourselves, to be able to know kind of what we're aiming at, what we're trying to achieve, you know, what initiatives we're putting focus on. We could adopt it on our own, you're correct. At the same time, if the commission has feedback, there's nothing that says you have to vote on it this evening. If it's something that you want to think about, if you had particular items that you wanted us to do a little more work on or more thinking on, we've had that in the past where the commission has said, okay, we're going to take another meeting and come back to it. So the commission can certainly suggest language as well if there are things that you think we're missing or not captured in here.
Good, that's helpful, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I think it's good.
Thank you.
Okay. Should we move to?
Was there a vote or something? You
Yep.
said discussion and vote, okay.
Yeah. Anyone want to initiate the motion? Man.
You can ad-lib it.
Sorry. Number 8.
I move that the Burlington Electric Commission approves the 2025-2026 strategic direction as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the Sheffield Wind contract extension, discussion and vote.
We have James with us online. James, you hearing us okay? I think you need to unmute. There we go. Okay. We can hear you as well.
Yes, but I was giving a solid thumbs up, which is universal. I can hear you okay.
Very good. Are you able to present, or do you need us to try to present?
I can't present reliably from where I am, so that's why I sent you guys a copy. Hopefully you can
Share
pull it up.
screen from here. This share button, and pull up James's PowerPoint from earlier. Give us just a moment. We'll get it
Of course.
loaded. Here we go, James. We can see it on the screen. Can you see it?
I can indeed.
Okay. Let us know when you need us to move slides. We'll leave it there.
Okay, so this is a very classic utility chart, and I was telling Emily, it's called a yawning gap chart. So for those of you who want to add a cool new term, yawning gap is the term. And all utilities have a yawning gap chart. I mean, the only way you'd not have a yawning gap chart is to have a perpetual contract for all of your resources and no load increases. So again, this is normal to see this. What this particular yawning gap chart shows is that we have 3 contracts expiring this year and next year. And it's the top 3 colored bars. It's the, I don't know, flesh-colored bar, maybe, peach-colored bar, whatever that would be. Blue and dark green are the top 3. The first one is the First Light contract that you'll recall we signed last year, which started on July of 2024 and goes until the end of this year. And then we have 2 contracts that are expiring by their terms. One is Hancock, which was a contract signed about 9 years ago for 10 years. And the last one is the Vermont Wind contract, which was signed originally for, I believe, 10 years, extended for 5, and now the extension is expiring. The rest of our resources are in for a much longer period. So things like Winooski 1 is owned. McNeil, we own it. Hydro-Quebec is long-term. Georgia Mountain Wind, very long-term. NIPO, very long-term. So these are our relatively shorter midterm contracts. They were 5 to 10-year contracts, except for the First Light, which was 18 months. So we've got 3 of them rolling off. And if you could switch to the next slide. This is a quick summary of the 3 contracts. First one, First Light, is 35% of the output of a particular hydro plant in Connecticut, along with the RECs from that plant. That is essentially what's called a unit contingent contract. Deliveries of energy from that contract are subject to the unit being available. Started 7/1/24 and it ends at the end of this year. It provided in the last year, last fiscal year, 25 gigawatt hours. Its normal average is 35. Again, that is a unit contingent plant, and they had some outage problems. So that's why the delivered output was less than we were expecting. Sheffield is 40% of the plant output. It includes anything that the plant produces. It is energy, capacity, RECs. It's what we would call sort of full tolling. It's everything the plant produces. That originally started in 2011 for 10 years and then was extended 5 more years. Hence it expires now in 10/18 of 2026. That's also around 30 gigawatt hours. And by the way, if you want to think of all of these as, low 30 gigawatt hours, that's really where they are intended to be. Most recent fiscal year was 30 gigawatt hours, but the historical average is a little high. And certainly you may have heard us saying that, recently wind has been down a bit this last year and things like that in the fiscal reports or financial reports. These are some of the things you might see. The last one is a Hancock contract. It was a 10-year contract in 2016. 26% of the output of the Hancock plant, energy, capacity, and RECs. While we are entitled to everything the plant produces, the plant is unable to deliver capacity because the ISO New England market does not have the ability to transmit the capacity from northern Maine to southern New England. So if that constraint were ever relieved, we would become entitled to the capacity, but right now it's not actually delivering any. Again, signed in 2016, 10 years, now expiring in 12/9/2026. All of those are each about 33 gigawatt hours, give or take, and that's about 10% of our load each. So in the next 18 months, we have 30% of our energy supply expiring. So we are going to be focused on considering energy replacement options between now and the last of those expirations. There's no reason you can't renew one earlier. You don't have to wait till it expires. You can go ahead and negotiate a renewal now, which is one of the things we're going to talk about, what we're talking about tonight. But we have other options on the table too. So we are looking at a replacement of the hydro plant. We are looking at extensions of the 2 expiring winds, and we've had a couple of entities approach us for possible contracts. So we're comparing all of those options. What we're talking about tonight is Sheffield has been particularly responsive, and the pricing is looking interesting. There is no commission meeting in August, and so we wanted to see if we could create some optionality to execute if we received a contract proposal price that was lower than we're currently paying now, or at or below what we're currently paying now. If we could get a renewal with good terms and conditions and at a savings or parity, we would like to at least be able to move on that at Darren's discretion. And that's really what we're here asking for tonight, is some ability to, if we get a good actionable proposal from Sheffield, to move on it.
Thank you, James.
And with that, any questions, certainly?
Any questions?
I wasn't able to get to look at the actual document. Is that, what's the duration of the extension?
The proposal would be to, I'll go through the resolution real quick, would be to delegate to the manager authority to enter a contract for up to 5 years to extend Sheffield, provided that the price is at or below the current contract price. And so it would be, and 5 years is within the Electric Commission's authority that has been delegated to the Electric Commission by the City Council. That would not need to go to the City Council for approval, nor would it need any state approvals. There is no state approval process for in-state contracts. Contracts in excess of 5 years in-state would need City Council approval as well as Electric Commission approval. 5 years or less is vested at the Electric Commission.
Thank you, James.
And by the way, that we're not proposing that 5 years because of that. We're proposing the 5 years because Sheffield is potentially going to be having to replace and repower some of their equipment in about 5 years. So they're not sure what they're going to have to sell in 5 years. So 5 years worked for them too. That was their proposal, not ours.
Thanks for the context.
Any other questions? Thoughts?
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Okay. Does anyone,
I do have one question.
Yeah.
So this may be something that's commercially sensitive, so it may not be something to talk about here, but I'll frame it as a statement. What's running through my mind is, are we feeling good about the price that we have now, and the ability, so we would be extending the cap to negotiate another 5 years at or below. So, and I guess we're assuming with the mandate of providing the least cost overall. Can you just speak to that a little bit?
Hey, James, I'll offer a thought and jump in as well if you'd like. So just recently I had the chance to hear from Gordon Van Wheely at ISO New England, and he was suggesting that across the board prices are going up, and that when we go to renew PPAs, you should expect to see increases by and large. So to be able to bring language that says we're either going to have at the same price or less of what we had already viewed as being reasonable at the time we had signed it previously, knowing we're in kind of a potentially escalating environment, to me is a positive. I probably can't go deeper than that without getting too far, but
that fully answers my statement.
Okay.
Thank you.
And also, we're not unaware of wanting to maintain our renewability, because there are benefits that are outside of the contract benefit stream, like values of increased value of tier 3 by being 100% renewable, exemption from state procurement by being 100% renewable. So all in, yes, we think this is reasonable. Mm-hmm. And certainly I would be pleasantly surprised to see a reduction in a contract price these days. Now, it would still be high value RECs. We would still be getting the RECs from the unit as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the actual price is common.
Thanks. And they also, I mean, in fact, you're asking us, they feel good about that as well? Or, they
won't, no one is ever going to tell you exactly
right.
Where they're standing. But I think we have the advantage, a couple of advantages, which is we are an existing off-taker. We've been an off-taker. I was literally there for the plant commissioning ceremony. We've been an off-taker since they went online. We extended our contract. We've been easy to deal with. We've never given them any problems. They've installed hardware to improve the congestion in Vermont, and we agreed to share the benefit with them. So again, I think we've been a good counterparty, and I think also that we're willing to sign 5 years and fill that block for them, I think has value, right? That we're not insisting on going past their repowering and putting additional risks on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but like anything else, you hope that you're both bringing value
Yeah.
to the table.
Yeah.
And one of the values,
everybody's cool, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, one of the values that I think VED tries very hard to bring is to be a reasonable counterparty. We are not known as a difficult counterparty.
You can probably unshare. The red button at the
Yeah.
top.
Good, there we go.
okay.
reasonable
Any
to
other
assume.
We did provide a draft resolution.
Oh, no, thanks.
Yes, we have a draft here. Does anyone want to
Sure.
initiate the motion?
Give it a go. I move that the Burlington Electric Commission delegates the Burlington Electric Department General Manager the discretional authority to negotiate and enter into an extension of the Sheffield wind contract expiring 10/18/26 for an additional term of up to 5 years, provided that the extension price is at or below the current price and other contract conditions are appropriate.
A second?
A second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Darren, can I add just one last thing, which is just, and one of the reasons we showed you the other two expirations is do expect, that we will be having to come back more with these, with replacements for the other contracts too. So it was just to give you the sort of the heads up as well.
And so what is, in context, what do those two leave on the table for?
The two that James had up there that we still haven't brought you a replacement for is the First Light Hydro contract and, what was the other one, James?
Hancock Wind.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
In terms
so
of a
again,
percentage
you
of our
would-
100%?
20 total.
30%.
30,
in total.
but now 20 if we get
20.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this one is executed, we'll be down to 20%. We will still have to do something between now and year end, because the First Light is actually the one that's expiring soonest, but Sheffield has been very responsive, and if they continue to be responsive, and if the trade looks good, it would be very nice to be able to close it without having to risk losing it by waiting till September or something like that. That's what our thought is.
And just, kind of further context for some of the discussion earlier on staff capacity, right? So we have a small but mighty policy and planning team, obviously, that works on these issues, but works on a number of different issues. So we're very much trying right now to prioritize this, knowing we have some expiring contracts that need to be addressed. We also have that battery RFP that we want to address too. So we're trying to put some priority on those two items, and we'll be back to you hopefully later this year with some stuff there.
And before we close this, we'll certainly be comparing it to any other things we're aware of in the market, comparing it to market prices, all of that. But again, given the August gap, we just didn't want to find ourselves unable to move if we needed to.
Okay, so the motion passes.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, James.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you all.
Okay, last agenda item is the commissioners' check-in. Does any commissioners want to bring forth anything before we close for the evening?
No.
Okay,
No?
okay.
I guess I have one. Thanking Commissioner Hobbs for her service on the commission.
Yes, that's right.
And congratulations on your move.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you for your service, Commissioner Hobbs.
Serve with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second that?
We are adjourned.
Oh, you have to
All in
vote.
favor, yeah, sorry. All in favor of adjourn?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? We are adjourned.
Now we're adjourned.